Good morning.
How are you?
How are you?
What's up, guys? It is July the 6th, 2021, and you're watching Mindset Mornings. Yeah, and here we go. Welcome, one and all, to the show. Thank you for swinging by this morning. Hope everyone's doing good. Hope Monday, what am I talking about? Monday, it's Tuesday. I'm living in the past. Hopefully Tuesday is chugging along nicely for you. My day, of course, is just beginning. I've recently just rolled out of bed, jumped into the shower, and if I can, made a steaming hot pot of coffee, which I am about to consume. Mr. James Mason. How's everyone doing? Oh my God, the first cup of coffee. Well, in my case, the only cup of coffee, you know?
Good morning.
Thank you, Arnold.
How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Come on, don't bullshit me.
Okay, maybe not so good. Let's see. So, Ben Emlyn-Jones will be joining us in about 25 minutes or so. So we'll get Ben on. It's always great to talk to Ben, see what he's up to in the crazy old world of ours. I am just coming off a 3-day weekend. So because Sunday was July 4th, Independence Day here in the States, and a national holiday. Because July 4th fell on a Sunday this year, that meant that we get Monday off, which is great. It's great. So I have mixed feelings about holidays, like national holidays and stuff. And the mixed feelings I have is that, obviously it's wonderful. You get an extra day of free time where you can do what you want to do and when you want to do it, as opposed to working on projects and people telling you to do stuff that you don't necessarily want to do but have to. It's wonderful and I love it, but it's bittersweet because taking time off from work, which you have to do unless you want to go mental, it gives you a taste of what could be. If you won the lottery or some shit, or you didn't have to work, you were financially stable enough where you wouldn't have to go into the office or wherever you work and deal with nonsense. And it gives you a little taste. So it's bittersweet because it's just wonderful to have the time off, but you also feel like, fuck, this is what it could be like, Mr. Spock. Which is, well, what you gonna do? But anyway, I had a great 3-day. It was productive. I did what I set out to do. It was relaxing. I slept in and recuperated from last week's sleepless fucking nightmare that I went through. So that was great. I built all of my bookcases and populated one with Blu-rays and more. Oh, hear that motorcycle? More to come. Still lots to do, but it's a work in progress, folks. Like my mother told me, she said, "You have to make it a home. You have to make your apartment a home." And she's right, of course. So I need to do that. All right, let's see who's in the chat. Let's see who showed up today to just to share my misery. No, to see what's going on. Let me scroll back. All right, so we got Rick Howden is in the house, and he says,
Happy day to you.
There you go. Karen Hoyle says, happy it is, morning all. I thought you said something. I thought you said happy something else and then morning all, but but that's okay. Firechild UK says, number 5 is alive. Good morning, Chris.
Happy day to you.
Good morning.
This is classic. This next one warms my heart.
Good morning. How are you?
See, it's catching on, guys. It's catching on. We get Simon Burrell comes in and he says,
happy day to you.
And we get Karen Hoyle says, all good here. Devin Lewis, thanks. There you go. Simon B.A.
Good morning.
Let's see. Paul Armstrong says, morning woos. Woos. Simon B.A. morning, everyone. 161171157 GOR says,
good morning.
L.A., which is great. B.
Happy day to you.
And what else we got? Oh, wow. Oh, my God. Rick. Mr. Barlow is looking forward to meet you. You like Mr. He goes, you'll enjoy Mr. Barlow, and he will enjoy you. How did you know that this is one of my most favorite movies of all time? Anyone know what Rick and I are subconsciously talking about through the ether of the internet? Tell me in chat if you know what movie we're rapping about. Yo. Let's see. Simon B.A. says, Friday is a bank holiday here in Argentina. Independence Day, July 9th, 1816. I think every country that has an Independence Day it's wonderful, right? Because there ain't nothing better than freedom. There ain't nothing better than telling your rulers to go fuck themselves, all right? So freedom is good. Anyone telling you, well, we think you should get the fuck out of here. How about I tell you what to do? Don't tell me, you fuck. Anyway, before I get on to a crazy rant, let's see what else we got. Barry Crump. Good morning, Gareth. I'm chugging along nicely with a cup of tea in one hand and a cheese roll in the other. Sounds good, Barry. Sounds good. Oh, Karen's got some cheese and onion crisps. Cheese and onion. Great song by the Ruddles. Jag. Hey up, Tuffy. You're right. Bloody great. Fantastic. Kevin Quinton says,
good morning.
how the devil are you? I wonder if I can get a clip of someone saying, how the devil are you? I want to get a clip of, what's his name? Leslie Phillips going, hello. That's what I want to get. And Kevin Quinton says, oh, it's the Barlow flick. What is the Barlow flick? Come on, what is it? You must know what it is. Come on. Happy it is a disease from a weird program, Children of the Stones. Watched it last night. There you go.
Happy day to you.
Hope you liked it, Karen. Was that the This is I'm speaking to you, Karen. Karen Hoyle, I am speaking directly to you. Was this the first time you watched the televisual feast known as Children of the Stones? So was it the first time you saw it? Or had you seen it before? Be interesting to know if it was the first time you saw it, and what did you think? Because that's interesting stuff. Let's see. Tim the Pigeon Whisperer says, "Hi Gareth, can you fly, Bobby?" And let's see. Sublime Expiration says, "Hey Gareth, good morning. What, me old skip?" Ah, see, Barry's let the cat out of the bag. Let's do. We should have a buzzer. I mean, go. What would be the film? Salem's Lot. That's correct. Now let's go over to Oxford. Oxford. There you go. Can you fly, Bobby? Yeah, and that's it. And that's all we got for the chat so far. Great to see you guys. Glad you come in. Keep the chat going. Ask me some questions. Dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria. Cup of coffee. Tuesday morning. Isn't it weird? Like, I just got off a 3-day weekend, and already I'm thinking about when is it Friday? When is the next weekend coming? Fucking ridiculous, you know? That's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. But yeah, Barry is right. The movie that Rick and I were riffing on was, of course, the 1979 TV movie Salem's Lot, starring David Soul and James Mason. And it's a great vampire flick. If you like vampire movies and you've never seen Salem's Lot, do yourself a favor. Check it out. I don't think it's on YouTube. So you might have to look on some street. I don't even know if it's on any streaming services, to be honest with you. It might be. I have the this is how much of a fucking mental case I am. I have the okay, so I had the VHS. I had the Laserdisc, the DVD, and now the Blu-ray of Salem's Lot. The only formats that I currently have are the DVD and the Blu-ray. The VHS and the Laserdisc are long gone, unfortunately. I am such a fool. I got rid of all my Laserdiscs about 20 years ago. Yeah, excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Oh my God. Woo. I got rid of them all. Like a fucking idiot. I was like, well, I'm into DVDs now. I'm collecting DVDs. You know, I have hundreds of DVDs. What do I need all these old Laserdiscs for? I need to get them all. So I put them all in these big boxes, and I drove to Amoeba Music in Hollywood, and I took them all in, and I sold them all. And then with the money I got from all the Laserdiscs, I went and bought a shitload of DVDs. Walking out thinking, wow, I did well. I got rid of all my Laserdiscs, which are, you know, obsolete technology. What do I need that shit for? DVD is the future, baby. And away I went. And I was such a fucking retard. I should have, because I had so many great Laserdiscs. You know, so much great shit. And now it's all gone. Like tears in the rain. Yeah, such a shame. So Salem's Lot, yeah, Salem's Lot. I remember when I first saw it as a kid on TV, it was shown in two parts, part 1 and part 2, on BBC One, and it was very unnerving. It was a scary movie for a kid in the late 70s, early 80s. So it holds a special place in my heart as far as vampire movies go. So yeah, you need to check it out if you haven't seen. If you're not into vampire movies, then you're probably gonna watch it and think this is a bunch of fucking stupid shit. Dave fucking Starsky and Hutch, David Soul running around the place, it's fucking stupid. But if you're into vampire movies and you're aware of Salem's Lot, because it was based on the novel by Stephen King. I think you'll dig it. I think you'll like it. I mean, Salem's Lot and the original Night Stalker, two great vampire movies. Highly recommended, folks. Check it out, yo. Funk Soul Brother. Let's see. Did anyone mention? Let's see. Oh, here you go. Rick says, One of the best TV movies ever. Yeah, it's up there. It is. It is up there for sure. No question. Barry Crump says, the kid at the window freaked me out. That was pretty unnerving. You know, if you're like an 8 or 9-year-old kid and you're up late, sitting in a darkened room with just the glow of the television illuminating the room, and you see that's going to put the shits up you. You know, it's going to be scary. Let's see. Kevin Quinton says, David Soul epic. I was young when I saw it. I will delve into the art. Yeah, you totally should, Kevin. It's well worth another watch. And it's weird. I've always because where they filmed Salem's Lot is up in it's in a small town up in Northern California, a little further north than San Francisco. So it would be like like 8 or 9 hour drive for me to get there. But I've always had this kind of childish fantasy of driving up the coast, and then of course I'd have to rent a Jeep, of course, and like driving into the sleepy town of Salem's Lot, you know, driving past the Marston House, getting a room for the night in the bed and breakfast. As I pull in, seeing an old guy sitting outside going, "Getting warmer," and then going in. I mean, it'd be wonderful. But it's always. I guess that's on my bucket list of things to do, is to get up there. And it's so weird. I've had this thought, or this plan, this dream, for years. And then this past weekend, was it this past weekend? I think, yeah, this past weekend. There's some YouTubers called the Grim Life Collective. I don't know if you've seen their channel, but they make really good videos, and I really do enjoy watching their stuff. And it popped up on my feed, "We visit Salem's Lot," and I was like, "What the fuck?" And I watched the video, and it's them. They're doing my dream, and I'm like, "You're stealing my ideas, man! How dare you?" But it was great to see. They went to all the filming locations from Salem's Lot, and they recreated. They framed it perfectly, so you could see the way it looks now compared to the way it looked in 1979 when the movie was made. But yeah, that was always for years I've been thinking about doing this, but never ever done it. And then they come along and knock it out in the weekend and make a great YouTube video. It's not fair, I tell you. I tell you, it's not fair. Oh, gee, mister, that's not fair. Let's see what else is talking about. Yeah, Rick, you're that would be an excellent adventure. It would. It would also be a bogus journey. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good point, Barry. Salem's Lot wasn't just a vampire movie; it was a great mystery. I love the backstory of Salem's Lot. Also, Stephen King was so enamored by Bram Stoker's Dracula, not the movie, the book, the original book, and the whole idea of this ancient, decrepit vampire in this eastern, this unknown part of the world, Transylvania, who was running out of a food source, so he moves to the thriving metropolis of London to replenish his food source. And Stephen King had this seed in his head thinking, well, what would happen if, Dracula came to the United States? If it was the same kind of scenario, food source is running out, so he's got to move. And he comes to, and he was saying, would he go to New York? Would he go to L.A.? Would he go to he said, no. He'd go to a small town where he'd be unnoticed, where he could pick off the population. And that was the seed of Salem's Lot. And of course, in the book, Dracula became, Mr. Barlow, and his assistant, Renfield became Mr. Straker, and so on and so forth. But it's basically, Salem's Lot is basically Dracula set in the late 20th century, as opposed to the late 19th century. Interesting stuff. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Kevin says, get that Jeep, Gareth. Go on your tour of Salem's Lot. Alada. I would love to, Kevin. I would fucking love to. That's a dream of mine, is to go and either to rent a Jeep. I'd love to buy one, actually, if I could afford it. And just go up there, you know? And what I do is, and I'll show this in a future episode of Physical Media Friday, because I have the Salem's Lot soundtrack on vinyl, on record. And what I'd do is I'd make digital copies of the vinyl, and when I'm driving in the Jeep up towards Salem's Lot, I'd have the soundtrack playing in the car to make it all like atmospheric. Like, you know, anyone driving by will think I'm out of my fucking mind. You know, that happened to me about 15, 20 years ago. In the early 2000s, I did something very similar to that. And I remember telling someone about it a few days after it happened, and they were like, oh, okay. Looking at me like I'm out of my mind. So I was going to night school to finish my degree in the early 2000s to get a proper education. And so I'd get out of college, out of school, pretty late at night. I'd get out like at 10:30 at final class, and then I'd go get in the car, and I'd drive home. And in the winter months, you know, it's pitch black, it's dark. And I would drive through South Pasadena, and South Pasadena is where they filmed the original Halloween. You know, the John Carpenter's Halloween, Jamie Lee Curtis, all that stuff. And a lot of the streets you see in the first Halloween, they look exactly the same. I mean, obviously the cars are different, but the streets and the houses, everything you see in that movie looks exactly as they did in real life. So I was driving through this neighborhood where they filmed Halloween at like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and I had an iPod back then. And I had the soundtrack to Halloween on the iPod rather. So I put the soundtrack on and cranked it up, and I drove through the streets. And for me, it was great. It was a lot of fun. But from anyone else looking, they must be like, "You're out of your fucking mind. What is wrong with this fucking mental case?" But yeah. That was one of the experience. So maybe I'll recreate that, but it'll be with Salem's Lot. Play the soundtrack. But I'll pull out the Salem's Lot vinyl soundtrack, and I'll show that on a future edition of Physical Media Friday. This Friday we'll be back, of course, doing Physical. And Reeves is coming back. Reeves will be back on Physical Media Friday, and I got some great ones to show you this week. I got some real good ones. Man, you guys are in the chat. You're all mentioning like my favorite movies. Somebody just mentioned Phantasm. See, I got Phantasm stories like you wouldn't believe. Oh my God, who is it? There you go, Barry. Barry, we're on the same wavelength, my friend. Phantasm was a major part of childhood for me as far as horror movies. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. Now, I love all of the Phantasm movies, like Phantasm 2 and so on, blah, blah, blah. But the first one it holds a special place. It's phenomenal, and I have that on vinyl too. I have the soundtrack, the Phantasm soundtrack on vinyl, which I should show also on Physical Media. Okay, I'm gonna have to bring in Ben. Ben is chomping at the bit in the background here. But stick a pin in it because I want to revisit Phantasm. If I don't bring it up in the next day or two, please prompt me in chat because I have some Phantasm stories, and I want to talk about how important this movie was to my life, because this movie is very, very special to me. And that's another one I've owned in all incarnations. Now, you check this out. I owned Phantasm on Betamax or Betamax, VHS, Laserdisc, DVD, and now Blu-ray. And sadly, because I had the Phantasm box set, like autographed by Don Coscarelli, and I sold all that shit like a mental case. The fuck is wrong with me? So the only ones that remain on physical media for me is I still have the DVD, and of course I still have the Blu-ray. And if you haven't seen Phantasm, the new remastered Blu-ray, which is currently available, oh my God, you got to get it. You have to get it, and I believe it's on sale on Amazon right now for $5. $5 gives you the remastered Blu-ray of Phantasm. The picture quality on this disc is, I can't even put it into words. It looks so fucking good. It looks amazing. Do yourself a favor. Get over to Amazon.com right now. Search for Phantasm Remastered Remastered Blu-ray. $5. It'll be the best $5 you've spent. It's amazing. All right, let's get Mr. Emlyn-Jones on the show. Let me see if he's ready. Okay, Nicole, and we'll get Ben on real quick. Let me get Ben on real quick. All right, Ben is ready. Let me just have a quick look because everyone's chatting about Phantasm. Hopefully. Yes. Barry says, I was 16 when I watched Phantasm to sneak into the cinema because it was rated X. You remember that? X? Yeah. Kevin Quitter says, Barry and Gareth were the producers back then. Yeah, we were the producers. Zero Motzell and Gene Wilder. That's us. Okay. Let's get Ben on the show. Let me give him a quick call. And we'll bring in Mr. Emlyn-Jones. There he is. Hello, Ben.
Greetings. Hello, Gareth. How are you? You all right?
I don't see you, man. Where are you? There you
Can't
are.
you? Oh, there I am. Yeah,
there you are.
Oh.
You got to turn the camera on and fix your mic.
Oh, yes, of course. That's something I remember to do every time. I was on the Paranormal Peep Show the other night. I managed to do it halfway through, so I sound so much better in the second half than the first half. Like audio,
you
video,
got to remember to get the mic.
Full communications device.
Could you
USB?
Move back just a little bit. We're just seeing your eyeballs. There you go. A little better. Can you see yourself on the screen? You can see what I mean?
I can, yeah. Do I sound okay now?
Now you sound 1,000 times better. I just need to adjust your camera so we can get your full, your handsome visage on the, on the thing. How you doing, Ben? How's it going, man?
I'm all right, mate. Again, I've just finished work. I've just got home. I'm just a bit sweaty. It's been raining and
we don't
hot.
Want to know about that shit. Don't be sweating. What's the matter with you?
Yeah, I have a little bit, but I'm all right. But I'm very busy at the moment. I'm getting ready for the weekend where I'll be at the Basis Project Conference.
I was going to ask you about that. So let's let the viewers know about what's coming up this weekend. The Paranormal Conspiracy UFO Spectacular, known as the Basis Project, will be rolling out in Wiltshire. If you're in the UK and you're in Wiltshire, well, Ben, tell everyone about what's happening this weekend.
I'm very pleased to inform you viewers that the UFO Paranormal Conspiracy Theory conference circuit is reopening after a hiatus of about 18 months. The last one I went to actually was RawCon, which was February last year in Hull. After that, the lockdowns descended, and that was the end of it. The only meetings I've ever been to since then were on Skype or Zoom or something like that. This is going to be a live event. It's taking place in one of the loveliest places I've ever been to in the world, which is the Barge in Honey Street, Wiltshire. It's right by the canal in the depths of the Vale of Pewsey, and it's really lovely there. There's hills and there's green fields and there's loads of crop circles. It's right at the heart of Crop Circle Central.
Yeah, crop circle country, right?
You can actually see the East Field from the Barge Inn. Now, East Field has had a crop circle almost every year since the phenomenon began. The event is going to be over 3 days. It's a bumper pack a long weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and other brilliant speakers apart from me. Now, let me just get the details, because it's in the pub, though, is really wonderful. It's like a traditional pub. It's about 300 years old, this pub, but it's become
really?
like
that old?
the centre. Yeah, it's become the centre of the whole crop circle and sort of new age ufology, paranormalist type community. The one and only Sir Matthew of Williamshire is a regular in there. We got.
Is that his local? Is that Matt's local? It's like
it is, yes.
Just down the street from him. Is that what that is?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, we have actually Edmund Marriage talking about comets, and there's Maria Wheatley talking about the long skulls of people. That's very interesting indeed. It's a completely overlooked mystery of this world. Whoever's other names, there's a few people who are less well known. There's Tony Topping, you may have heard of, and Dave Hodrian, who runs the Birmingham UFO group. And there's loads of others. There's some other names you may have heard of, probably less well known, but I think they're still very interesting people, such as Julie Phelps, Michael Shrimpton, and Jane Shattuck. They're all very, very interesting people. Now, the MC is someone called Gemma Cooper, and she is formerly of the BBC.
Really?
She's a former BBC TV presenter who's gone over to the dark side.
Well, so I mean, her career is obviously down the fucking tubes if she's gone from the BBC to hosting the bases. Let's be honest, Ben. Come on.
It's something I predicted because I've known her for a long time. She's the woman I call Jenny in my reports because I never mentioned her name. But she's been a bit infamous in the Daily Mail has sort of outed her. She's been doxxed by various people appearing at various lockdown rallies and things like that. And as a result, a lot of her former colleagues are coming out to slag her off and saying how awful she was in the studio and things like this. When, in fact, if you look at the videos she's in, she's a very professional newsreader and weather forecaster for BBC Points West. Just check out the videos of BBC Points West. You'll see.
Yeah.
But she's now gone she's a full-time woo. She doesn't have to pretend anymore. She doesn't have to hide anymore.
What do you mean woo? Is that like the new lingo? Is woo the opposite of a normie?
Yeah, it's sort of. It's a word the skeptics use, and I shouldn't use it, but the skeptics always use it.
A woo.
But what other word could you use? A UFO paranormal conspiracy person, I suppose you would call us. But she's now full time, and she is going to be presenting this event, and I'm going to be doing my talk on at the moment it's the Saturday, although Miles does like to shift the schedule around a little bit. Sometimes you don't always know exactly who's going to be where and when until they're actually there.
Why does he do that? Is it because people cancel at the last minute and he's got to reschedule, or why is he moving stuff around? Surely that must be very inconvenient and slightly annoying, not just for him but for the people who are scheduled to speak.
Well, if you turn up if you turn up for a one-day event, then yes, I can imagine it would be. Although I think most people are getting weekend tickets this year, but it's because of rescheduling and things like that. People cancelling, people having to come on different days. It does sometimes happen. So, but at the moment, I'm booked for the Saturday, and I'm going to be there all weekend anyway. Miles really knows how to throw a good conference. He really does, and they're always such great fun. They're such brilliant fun.
Yeah, I was saying to you
on the atmosphere there. There's such a wonderful atmosphere there.
On the Mindset podcast on Sunday, I was saying how jealous I am that you guys are going, and I'm 5,000 miles away, all alone.
Oh, I'm sorry, mate. It's a long bus ride for you, isn't it?
In an empty apartment. Staring at the wall, getting drunk, crying myself to sleep.
Yeah. Well, at least you have the ghosts to keep you company. You've got those.
Ooh.
But it,
Dude, last night, right?
even if you did, can I just say, even if you wanted to
Yeah,
come, I
yeah.
think he's sold out. I think he's sold out now.
They'd make room for me. Come on.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake. If I showed up over there, the fucking audience would triple. Let's be honest.
I would sort of sneak in the back door, Gareth. I really would.
And as you know,
I'm really looking forward to it.
As you know, ladies and gentlemen, Ben is very accustomed to sneaking in the back door. Ooh or misses. No,
sorry, mate. Yeah.
All joking aside, man. I think it's going to be a great great event, and I'm sure you will have an absolute fucking blast, and we'll love every second of it. And I bet you were chomping at the bit to get your fucking talk over with, so you can fucking prop yourself up at the bar and get shit-faced, yapping all conspiracy shit with all these mental cases that are going to show up. Am I wrong? Be honest.
You're right. In fact, but I will be drinking on the Friday. Obviously, Saturday I won't drink anything till afterwards. But I'm working. The reason I'm so busy now is I'm preparing my talk, which is good. Again, I'm not sure exactly how long it'll be, but I think Miles said an hour or so. But either way, I can adjust it. I can adjust it to whatever length Miles wants. Honestly, man, I want to do a good job. I so badly want to make this a good one, because not only are the Basis Project conferences so good, they're so full of joy, and they've got such a wonderful atmosphere. But this is my return to the live conference circuit as a speaker, and I want to go in. I want to go in with a bang. I really do. I want to put the body on page one. I really do.
I hear you, man, and I agree. And I want to let the viewers know that if you haven't seen Ben give one of his lectures, highly recommended. Not only is Ben a super great guy and very approachable. So if you were to see him at the conference and you want to go up and maybe buy him a pint and hang out with him, he's super normal and not like, get away, I'm discussing UFOs with this fellow. He's not like that. But he gives a great talk, great lecture. He's super knowledgeable, and he's just a great all-around guy. So I would strongly recommend, even if you can't make the bases, check out when he's doing his next talk, and try and go. You won't regret it. Seriously, you won't regret it. Check it out.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, thanks. There's some of my talks are recorded on my own channel and various others if people want to check those out. Miles will be doing a recording for this one, of course. He will be. I had an interesting discussion with him actually, because he mentioned on one of his videos that he says I'm not putting them out yet because people just won't come along. People will just sit at home and watch the videos. And I said, Miles, look, come on, mate. People don't come to these conferences for the speakers. They come to the conferences for the crack.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you live stream them. People will come along. People will come anyway. People just come along to hang out.
If you build it, they will come.
Yeah,
and I think you're right, Ben. I mean, obviously the speakers are an attraction, and it's great to hear what the theories and ideas that people are throwing out there in their lectures. That's always fun. Of course, it's good, but I think you're right. I think ultimately it's an opportunity to hang out with like-minded people, right? To talk about things that you wouldn't necessarily be able to talk about with like your normal family and friends, because they think you're out of your fucking mind. Plus, you can drink copious amounts of alcohol, get all fucked up, act like a fool, and have a great old time. Am I wrong?
You're right. You're not wrong at all. This is exactly it. You can have conversations and people won't think you're crazy. And it's like, it can be a bit lonely being one of us in the normie world. Niall mentioned this on his video the other day. It can be very isolating, and this is a chance, especially like since we haven't been able to have these live meetings for the last year and a half. Now we can, and I think I'm probably going to get a bit manic. I'll probably get a bit wild. I've actually interviewed Miles on her Panmo radio. If you want to see that, he put it on his channel as well. If you want to see that, but I did an interview with him about the upcoming conference. So we discussed some of the speakers and some of the events and things like that. And they're all really the quality of speakers are very, very good, including myself, of course.
Of course.
The others are very
Goes
good
without
too.
saying.
A lot of them are very experienced. Like a lot of them, such as Maria Wheatley, is very, very experienced in this sort of thing, and she always does a good presentation. Dave Hodrian is like a field researcher. He doesn't just sit around his computer. He actually goes out and he actually researches real UFO events in the real world. There's not many people who do that these days. It's like it's hats off to him for that.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna be legit, you got to get out there. You can't just fucking type stuff into Google and say I found out this. Well, and even though if that is valid, you can find shit out on the internet. But ultimately, you got to get out there and do your stuff.
That's right. Yes.
You got to do your thing, baby. Can I ask you, Ben, or is it top secret? Can you tell us the topic of your lecture? What will you be discussing? Can you tell us?
I can indeed. I've got a blurb actually. Where was it? Well, basically, it's going to be called "What's Going to Happen Next," and the gist of the whole thing is that what is going to happen next is that I'm going to do it's kind of like a current affairs analysis, really, and I'm going to make some perspectives of where events are going to go in the future. That's my purpose, to maybe make some predictions, which of course are subject to error, as predictions always are. But I think I've got a pretty good idea now where things are going. I mean, I've made predictions of error. I've made predictions before that have come true. Some I get wrong. The whole 2016.
Ben, let's be honest. You've made a lot of predictions on the Mindset Podcast, and I've yet to see one of them come true. I'm just being real.
You keep a note of all of them, I know. Well, I've there were a few that hadn't come true in the past. The whole 2016.
What do you mean a few?
Well, the times that I said Trump was going to come back, I know. How it happened. However, what I mean by when it comes to long-term predictions, like the whole 2016 thing, I never predicted. I never predicted that. I said, Hillary Clinton, she'll be president. Brexit, the Brexit vote will go pro EU. I said that would definitely happen. And I was wrong. I was wrong, and this is where I had a bit of not a debate, but I had a discussion with Niall Murphy. I missed his show actually.
He was on yesterday. It was great. You check out yesterday's show if you haven't seen it. We had a really good conversation on the show yesterday.
I'll check that out because Niall is always good for that sort of thing. I love being on the Mindset Podcast with him, and he uploaded a video called "Why I'm Not a Conspiracy Theorist."
Yeah.
I took the mickey out a bit because I posted on Facebook the last scene from Some Like It Hot where the guy says nobody's perfect.
Yeah,
I was only teasing him. I wasn't being nasty. But then I posted a comment on the video where because one of his complaints, and it's a legitimate complaint, is the conspirasphere, the conspiracy theory community, is essentially one of negativity and despair, because we and this is a just complaint this is a just criticism to make. A lot of people in the conspirasphere talk about the New World Order as essentially something which is all powerful, infallible, never makes a mistake, and omnipotent. It cannot be overcome. Invincible. Invulnerable and invincible. That's what's the way some conspiratologists actually describe the New World Order, the Illuminati, the Deep State, whatever you want to call them. And they often say things like, Alex Jones goes, "We're engaging an info war," things like that. When it comes to practical...
let me stop you right there, Ben. I just want to talk about Super Male Vitality, Infowars.com. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, it works on you, hasn't it, Alex? But the thing is that when people when they do this, when they say, "Oh yes, we're going to stop this New World Order," very often when it comes to practical plans for how that's to be done, they don't have any, and that's quite destructive. That's meant, in terms of our psychology and culture, that's a very, very pathological position, because it essentially means that we're wasting our time. And I know a lot of people in the conspiracy sphere who have essentially given up. They've fallen into despair because of things like this. Now, Niall said that's why I'm not a conspiracy theorist. And I replied to him, put a comment on there saying, well, look, I am a conspiracy theorist, Niall, but what you say is actually a legitimate gripe. And you see, the reason I don't feel that way, and Niall he does accept that I'm different from most conspiracy theorists. But you see, the Illuminati are not all powerful. They're not invincible. They're not invulnerable. They make mistakes. They have weaknesses. They get things wrong, and they can fail. Their power is limited. And so we should not despair at all. I think not only that, but I actually describe exactly the ways in which I think they have failed, and they are, in a sense, losing a lot of the control they had before. I mean, I believe for a few months in 2016, they totally lost control. Between June and at least from June to November, they completely lost control of the entire shebang. And that can happen again.
Yeah. I mean, if the Illuminati even exists in the first place, I mean, it's a little bit like speculating about Spider-Man losing his powers and thinking, well, Spider-Man from issue 46 to issue 80, Spider-Man was not in control. He lost his powers. But then in issue 80, he got it back again. I mean, it could be something like. I mean, I'm being devil's advocate, Ben. Work with me here. But you see the point I'm making?
Yeah. The question about whether the Illuminati exist or not is a legitimate one, because it's the first question everybody asks you. I mean, some people don't use the word Illuminati. There's many other words people use. The deep state. Oh, how come how do you know they exist? Well, you see, if you want, I can't give you their phone number. I can't. They don't have a business address. They don't have a website.
Come on, we'll call them right now on the show. Let's call them up.
Funny enough, there are several organizations that call themselves the Illuminati. They have websites and everything. But of course, they're not the Illuminati. But I do give reasons. It's quite detailed. I do give reasons why I think the Illuminati exists. First place, there are patterns that emerge in geopolitics that lead me to see that this is some kind of plan, that it's organized. We're looking at something that is organized internationally, because the same policies keep coming out in supposedly independent states.
Mm-hmm.
The same agenda seems to be played out in all kinds of different places. There are organizations which I think are borderline groups, as I call them, such as the Bilderberg Group and the Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission. These are a part of where the secret world meets the public world. Some of these organizations are completely secret. The Bilderberg Group is a lot less secret than it used to be, but it still keeps everything is private. Same with the Ditchley Foundation, which is actually based in Charlbury, not far from where I live in Oxford. Well, that has a completely private. It holds private meetings much more often. Every few months, it holds a private meeting. There's top security. All kinds of bigwigs turn up usually from Britain and Ireland. That's not quite as international, and then they're not allowed to talk about what's discussed. So that's when these groups meet, they have these secret meetings. They go back to their respective places of authority, and then they introduce the same agenda. It just goes to show, and the trend towards internationalism and authoritarianism is unmistakable everywhere. The people who came up with the term deep state were completely independent from the people who came up with Illuminati. None of them had watched David Icke or anything.
Yeah, I mean, there are lots of pointers that point towards some kind of governing body to push out policy throughout the world. But whether or not, I mean, because we don't have all the information, okay? We don't. We only have little nuggets of information that we're trying to connect together, and sometimes we connect these pieces of information together and we come to a larger conclusion, right? But it might be because these nuggets might not necessarily be connectable, but that's all the information we have. We make these assertions, these speculative assertions as to what's going on, which may or may not be real. We don't have all the information. So, from my perspective, saying that some overarching organization, called the Illuminati or whatever you want to call it, is real, it is speculative, but also is somebody saying, no, that's nonsense. There's no Illuminati. There's no way, right? That's saying that this thing cannot exist is just as dumb as saying that it does, because we simply don't know. We do not have all the information, and you cannot make solid decisions without having all the information. Obviously, the more information you get, the more you can push towards that goal. But we don't have. I mean, I know in the chat somebody said, who was it? I glanced over and saw it. I'm trying to let me scroll through and find it. Here. I knew it was this guy. Firechild UK says, do you think Boris is in the Illuminati because he's a buffoon, or should be a walkover, just a puppet? Well, there's a number of fallacies that are in that statement, and the statement could be true. But number one, you're assuming that Boris is in the Illuminati. Number two, you're assuming that the Illuminati exists. Number three, you're assuming that Boris is a buffoon.
Shit.
Right?
Hello?
You okay, Ben?
Hello. Yeah, my router just decided to reset itself.
Okay, you're okay. You're good.
I don't know why that was. I have no idea why that was.
They're after you, Ben. That's what it is.
I think it is. I was just saying, Gareth, I don't know how other people heard me when I was saying, because I tried to carry on solo when you disappeared. The idea that it is completely speculative. There's no proof for anything I say.
Yeah.
However, the alternative hypothesis has to be that there is no coordination at all, and that everything that happens is coincidental.
Couldn't it be somewhere in the middle that fluctuates? You got one side, we control everything. The other side, we control nothing. Couldn't it be somewhere in the middle that kind of moves? Sometimes they have more control, less control, but never complete control. Never somewhere a moving target.
Yes, it could be. However, the problem is that the only official policy, the only open statements that politicians ever make is the other end of the scale. They'll say, no, we are sovereign. We are a sovereign nation. I represent the people of this country. There is no coordination with other states other than just we talk, or sometimes we make trade agreements and things like that. But we do not answer to any super government at all. That is their position. And the only exception is when there is a super government like the EU or the United States.
They would say that whether there was an Illuminati or not. They'd still say the same thing.
Precisely. This is why I when they say it, I don't believe them. I don't believe them.
But they might be telling the truth, Ben. They might be.
Well, then in that case, it's coincidental. Everything that happens is coincidental. Just imagine.
No. It doesn't have to be everything.
No. Just imagine. What would you think if your guy Newsom, whatever his name is, that twat who breaks lockdown rules?
Yes, Gavin Newsom. Yeah.
What would you do if he said California is a sovereign state? The United States of America is a conspiracy theory. It doesn't exist. All the 50 states of this so-called union are sovereign states.
Right.
It's true that we appear to have many policies which some people have described as federal, but that's just their imaginations. They are seeing things. They're making connections.
Here's the thing, though. We in the scenario that you just proposed, we could see that what he's talking is bullshit, because we have the information to contradict what he's saying. Right?
I think we do.
Whereas whether or not the Illuminati exists, we don't. We have little nuggets of evidence that might point towards it, but we don't have all of the information.
I think we have an overwhelming circumstantial case.
Okay.
I think it's the kind of thing that your court verdicts have been made on less circumstantial evidence than what we have here. I can't. It's unprovable, but it's still overwhelming, I think, and this is why my various articles about this, I think, prove this. Not only that, the fact that I have entered into debate with people who disagree. I've discussed this. I've visited. I've read books that conspiracy skeptics actually put out, and I still think there is an Illuminati. It's like I'm trying to be rational here. I do make an effort to be rational. I do.
No, I mean, I love the idea. I mean, the world is a far more interesting place with the Illuminati than without. But
interesting, yes, but it's rather like a Chinese curse about interesting times.
Yeah,
it's also such a thing causes a lot of suffering.
Sure.
And I'd rather we didn't have it. The world would be a happier place without it.
I kind of fall somewhere in the middle, and I fluctuate pro and con in regard to the Illuminati.
In terms of its existence, or in terms of its value?
What do you mean by value?
You're saying that I said that we're saying it makes the world more interesting, and I said only interesting in the Chinese proverbial sense, but I think that it makes the world worse. I think it causes a huge amount of suffering, and I think that the world would be better off without it.
Yeah, I guess so. You're probably right in that respect.
Oh, okay, I see what you mean. So you're talking about the existence of the Illuminati.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because I fluctuate, because I mean, I do believe that conspiracies do exist. They absolutely do exist, right? There are people that get together and create goals, like we want our country, our corporation, our government, whatever, to be at these points somewhere in the future, and then they make plans to get to those goals, right? Now that, and it's not public news, right? It's not like a front page of whatever. That's real. That absolutely 100% happens, right? And you could consider that a conspiracy, because it is. It's a conspiracy. But to go to a level where there is one overarching, all-powerful regime that controls every aspect of all world governments, while I can concede that it is possible, I don't know how likely it is.
Yeah, it's something that is not possible to prove. I can't find documents that prove it. Although there are certainly documents that have supposedly been captured and are alleged to be to prove this. There are areas of research. People going back a long way. I mean, for example, Nesta Webster, who was a woman who researched this from the late 19th century onwards. There's G. Edward Griffin, who's still alive. He's quite elderly, but he's still alive. And it's not a new idea. It's something that's been around quite a long time. Things weren't helped actually by It's quite I can't bring myself to condemn it, because it's firstly so amusing, and secondly it's probably a net positive in terms of raising awareness. But there was what Playboy magazine did. They basically created some fake documents which supposedly were from the New World Order. It was called Operation Mind F. The other word is a rude one. But,
you can say it. It's okay.
Operation Mindfuck. It was called.
There you go.
And Robert Anton Wilson was involved in. I mean. He was great. He's a great trickster and playful individual. But it's probably over the long run it's been a net positive, because it's probably made people see it as an allegory for the real world, even though it itself was just a prank. It was what today would be called a troll.
When was this? This was probably what, in like the 90s or something?
No, it was from the late 60s to the early 70s.
Okay, so way back when then, when when did the Illuminatus trilogy come out? That was around that time too, right?
That was from the early 70s. Yeah, Wilson and Shea wrote the book as a result of this.
Oh, okay.
Wilson was actually on the editorial board of Playboy for much of that time. Which you could probably see that actually, because I mean the Illuminati is very sexually explicit. So
it's in Playboy.
Yeah, because I think exactly, yeah.
It's in Playboy, baby. But yeah, it's a fascinating idea, Ben. Whether or not the Illuminati exists, and I can see pluses and minuses. I can see both sides of the argument. Which one is correct, I don't know. But it is fascinating. I mean, we're beginning of July. We're in the first real week of July right now, and at the end of July, of course, every year they have some shenanigans going on in Northern California, known as Bohemian Grove.
Oh yeah.
Right, every year. And before Alex Jones and John Ronson infiltrated Bohemian Grove with a hidden camera and filmed some of the nonsense that happens there, if people were having discussions about Bohemian Grove and the dark secrets that happen there, most people, myself included, would probably shake your head, roll your eyes, and think you're out of your fucking mind. There's no way, right? Mm. But guess what? It was all true.
Well, yeah,
it happens, and that's the craziness of it all, right?
There were two documentaries made about that event, that infiltration of Bohemian Grove. One by John Ronson, the other by Alex Jones. You can guess which one I like the most. The Ronson one was part of a series called Secret Rulers of the World, and it was a very, really bad series, actually. Extremely misleading.
I really enjoyed the series.
You know what?
It was fun.
It could be.
I enjoyed it.
It could be that you could say that there was a positive element, and that is only because I started reading David Icke after I watched it.
Right, because you watched the Lizards and the Jews episode? What's it called?
The David Icke one.
The David Icke episode. That's it. And it is a great episode. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Well, I like the whole series, but I really did enjoy that episode. And I'm a fan of Icke. I'm not against Icke. So I mean, I know there was some negative shit in there, but overall, I think it was good.
It was incredibly misleading. It was a complete misrepresentation of David Icke, and Ronson must have known what he was doing. I mean, I just found it. I can only bear to watch it now. And he goes, "The answer lies in the question. When he says lizards, does he mean lizards or does he mean Jews?"
I know. And then Icke looks at the camera and says, "Okay, let me settle this once and for all. When I say lizards, I mean lizards, not Jews." And he says that to the camera.
They do let him have his say, which is more than what the damn wokeists are doing now with David Icke. They at least let him have his say about that, because the today's wokeists and what they're saying about David now are just saying they won't even let him present his case anymore. They just say he's obviously using code for Jews. There's no other explanation for what he's doing.
Of course, there's other explanations.
Well, you see, if you actually look into what he has to say in detail, you take the time to listen to him, read his books, you'll understand what he's really meaning. Yeah. And when he does say lizards, he actually does mean lizards.
Exactly.
I only know this because I've read his books so thoroughly. I was actually the MC at the RepCon conference in Manchester.
That's right, yeah.
It's an entire one-day conference in Bury, Greater Manchester, which is all about reptilian humanoids. And I tell you what, once you start looking at that and you realize that believe it or not, there are actually individuals walking around, both Jew and Gentile, who look human and they talk like humans, and they're actually not. They are in disguise, and their true form is a reptilian humanoid. I've met too many people who've had this experience. And I've seen too much research. It is true. It's a weird thing, but it's true.
So, and I don't mean to be an asshole, Ben, but sometimes I can't help
Gareth, it. You would never be, surely.
No, surely not. But you're speaking with such authority on something that ultimately is pure speculation.
Again, photograph. There are actually photographs claiming to be that of reptilian humanoids. Whether they're true, real or not, I don't know. I mean, you see, there's all kinds of questions over photographs. There's this new photo circulating at the moment because Greer's just put one in his new documentary.
Oh yeah, but, I haven't seen that yet. Someone was talking about that the other day. What's it called? The Cosmic Hoax or something?
It was released. Yeah, it was released yesterday. The Cosmic Hoax.
Have you seen it yet?
Yeah, I have. It's
Fuck, it was released yesterday and you saw it already?
what's the date today? It's
It's
oh, sorry, it's
the
released on Sunday. It was released on
the
Sunday.
6th.
Yeah, it was released on the 4th of July, on 4th of July, Independence Day. He
Independence
released
Day.
it. Yeah, it was all put on all the platforms. I watched it straight away. I was curious to see it because Greer's always he's an interesting guy.
He is.
He's got a right to be proud of what he's achieved. He's been doing what he does now for 30 years.
Uh-huh.
And so I watched this with great interest. Now, when I saw this photo, I was really, really interested in that.
What is?
And I
What
went,
is? Can you describe? Because I have not seen it, and I'm
I
sure,
will.
I'm sure
Jason,
that people watching haven't seen it either. So could you describe as best you can the photograph?
Jason Gleaves has just put it up on LinkedIn, actually.
Can you send it to me?
Yeah, sure. It is blimey, hang on a sec. Yeah, oh, here he is. Yeah. I'll send you the photo just a moment.
Yeah,
And
send me the picture.
it is what looks like a photo of some kind of alien autopsy. I'm sure I'll put AA. Here we go. AA2. There we go. Let me just send it to you.
Send it to
I've
me.
just saved it. But you'll see that it's actually very poor quality.
Do it now.
It's a very poor quality. Jason's replied to me. No, I'll answer him in a minute. Let me just put it in here. It's an old photograph. Greer has done a lot of research into this, and he's based on the clothing and hair.
Did you send it yet, Ben?
It's just come in now. Just one sec.
What do you want? What do you want? Fucking dial up over there? Let's go.
No, sorry. There it is. There it is.
Oh, okay.
It's very old. I mean, the problem is, as you can see, it's faded and it's also damaged. It appears to have like what looks like a scorch mark in the middle of it. But it shows a number of men standing around a pathology table with some kind of strange being that they're examining.
Yeah, let me.
They're wearing. It's been estimated to be sometime in the 1920s.
Okay, let me.
That's what Greer from the clothing and from the hairstyles.
Let me see if I can pull it up so people can see it because I have it up here. Let's. Oh, I hit the outside.
I mean,
cam.
I should.
There we go.
There we are.
Okay, look at that.
Now, we don't know much information about this, and Greer just says he found it somewhere. He's still investigating it. You have like people examining it. There's a bowl by the side. It's humanoid, obviously. Is it like it could be one of those mummies from Mexico? Or
Yeah, it could be anything, dude.
But it looks very tall. I mean,
it could be literally, and it's probably a mummy of some. See, this is what drives me mental about these guys who find these old things and say, "Well, this is obviously an extraterrestrial entity." And I mean, who knows? Maybe it
Not
is.
obvious.
But come on, please. That could literally be fucking anything.
Well, I wouldn't use the word obviously. I'd use the word possibly, because it could be anything. I mean, it's obviously quite tall. I'd say it's about 7 feet tall. It's quite a tall object. It's quite a tall being, if that's what it is. The guys, we don't know anything about the men examining them. No one's been able to identify them. They don't appear to be wearing any uniforms underneath their smocks. Whether they're military or not, we don't know. Whether they're some other government agency. Jason just said here, he's just asking what people think. He doesn't actually. He says but he's colorized it. He said, "I've colorized it and enhanced the black and white original." That's the one you got. You got the enhanced version.
It looks like, Ben, if you look, I'll move my mouse over so you can see it. This section right here. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see this thing? It looks like the image is damaged or water damaged or something right here.
It's been looks like a tear or something in the print,
which is very convenient because he's doing something to the body right over the part where it looks like it's damaged.
I've also got to ask, like, is the print? I mean, obviously, a reproduction like this is not good enough. We need to see the print. Ideally, if the negative still exists, that would be ideal. And see also to check if it's part of any kind of album. Where did it come from? Are there other shots? Are there other prints that go with it? We need to know the origins of it.
We've seen things like this in the past. Remember the little alien guy in Mexico, and everyone was losing their shit about that. I remember talking to you about that, and you paid like $30 to see that bullshit. And that
Oh no no oh you mean
the little
you mean the no that's not Atta.
no the
That's
one I think
the
Greer
Hilda Ray mummy.
was
Yeah.
Greer was involved with that nonsense too, and it all turned out to be bullshit.
Well,
I mean,
not
it's
quite, not quite. What happened was, you see, it didn't when all the Faroe died down and people realised that actually wasn't at Roswell. It wasn't an alien from Roswell. It was actually at the $1 Million Museum, and they actually found a more recent photograph of it. Then they realised there is actually something weird about that body. The more recent photograph showed that there is something a bit strange about that body. It has certain elements you don't find in a human body. The problem is, by then it had been listed under the Native American Graves Repatriation and Protection Act and buried. It had been handed back to the Pueblo Nation with the modern descendants of the Four Corners civilization, and they buried it with a traditional funeral. And now you can't get it at all. It's gone. You can't just. It's like the thing in Aurora. You can't just dig it up because that's grave robbing.
So this picture right here, Ben. Now I have not seen Greer's movie yet, but I will rectify that either tonight or tomorrow night. I'll grab a copy and watch it. But what does Greer say about this image? What is his take, his vibe? What's his angle on this photograph? What is he saying about
What
it?
did he say? He says he believes it's. I think he said he believes he thinks it's an extraterrestrial. I don't know how committed he was to that statement, but he says he's investigating it as a possible extraterrestrial. I can't remember his exact words, but he did he took it to a museum. He took the photograph to just a museum of fashion and things like that, and said, when did people wear clothes like that and have their hairstyle like that? And they said 1920 odd, sometime around 1920. Yeah. If you watch it, I mean, I should maybe make a few more comments about that particular documentary, if I may.
Yeah, please do. Please do. Yeah.
I won't include spoilers, but I will. I have to say, I mean, despite the fact that Greer I respect in many ways, this documentary includes a huge amount of what I can only call wanton slander. He is convinced of he has a hypothesis relating to the new ufology. He says it's basically the title "Cosmic Hoax" is all there. Now, he's often said that he believes there's a false flag alien invasion coming. Carol Rosin, who's interviewed in this documentary, she has said so from her interview with Werner von Braun. And to be honest, it is something we need to bear in mind, because it is quite likely that they, as we've described before on previous shows, that they will pull their last card maybe as a justification for a state of emergency, a global state of emergency. At the same time, Greer has gone completely overboard, I think, and he's openly accused, basically, Lou Elizondo of being a disinformation agent. I personally don't believe we should hang on every word Elizondo says. I think we should subject it to scrutiny. But at the moment, there's no way any evidence to accuse him of that. There's enough of these shell accusations. There's too many of them, and Greer is contributing to them, and it gets worse. It gets worse.
He kind of names names and points fingers and says, "This guy's full of shit. This guy's a bullshit artist. No. This is not true. Here's what's really going on." Does he do shit like that?
Yes, it gets a lot worse as well, because he also attacks Leslie Kean.
What?
And he makes accusations against her. This is somebody who's been in this business almost as long as he is, and in fact, he needs to be grateful to her for. She's one of the best publicized researchers in this business.
No, that's
and it's thanks to her and Ralph Blumenthal that we know as much as we do. And I mean, I think I looked at this and I said, "How dare you? How dare you say this?" And I was waiting for him to provide some kind of evidence, as if it's some kind of trial, and he doesn't provide any proper evidence. If he really had proper evidence, he wouldn't. He would basically put together a case privately with Danny Sheehan, and he hasn't done that. He makes a bloody video about it and puts it out there. And I was actually quite appalled by that.
Did he slag off Dolan too? Did he talk shit about?
He didn't mention Dolan, I don't think, in the video. He mentioned Tom DeLonge. Now he mentioned he's quite rightly to be concerned about things. Did he being involved?
Did he mention you, Ben?
He didn't mention me. No, you think he
would?
You think he might do? Because I mean, all other people have accused me of being a shill. They interviewed Chris Mellon's nephew was there. He's now like turned against the entire family. That's John Warner. He's turned against the entire family now. He was on what was it? I think it was Somewhere in the Skies the other day, or was it that UFO podcast? And he was like slagging off his uncle and the entire family, saying, "Oh, this whole thing is a psyop, basically." And I've always said, right, we have to keep it open. The possibility that this is some huge bluff is one that we have to leave open at the moment. The problem is, if we go over the top and we start you just start publishing movies with open accusations with no evidence, that's not helping. It's not helping making people aware.
He obviously believes this, right? For him to take the money and time to put together this video and to name names, point fingers, and call people out, so to speak. He must believe this, unless he has some other alternate agenda for doing this. Putting Leslie Keane down, that does not sit well with me, because I have enormous respect for Leslie with the amount of research that she's done. And she does not give me the BS vibe. Whenever I see her interviewed or on some show or whatever, I get nothing but I'm being honest vibe from her. Now, I don't get that from Greer. I always, whenever I see Greer, I always get a feeling that either he's up to something or he's a bit mental. Do you know what I mean?
This is why I think we desperately need some kind of tribunal system. We need some kind of due process when it comes to things like this. We need the ability to get together as ourselves in a civilized manner and discuss this evidence, whether it exists or not, in a controlled environment. I've said the reason I came up with this is because of all the other times this has happened in other scenarios involving other people. And I myself have been involved in this. I myself have been sucked into situations where I'm either being accused myself or I'm having to defend friends of mine against this sort of thing. And we've just had an attack against Miles by somebody. Somebody's attacked Miles again with they just literally posted accusations with no foundation at all. They've literally made stuff up. We've seen this before. We've seen this with Larry Warren. We've seen this with many, many other people. This is essentially medieval justice. This is ordeal by hashtag. We have to move beyond this. Greer should be adult enough to conduct himself in a more proper way when he's dealing with these kinds of controversies. And it's a shame. I can't help thinking. You know what you said about Greer just now?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that he's a knowing shill or anything like that. I don't think he is. The problem is there's certain people if you want to use them for disinformation, you don't actually have to recruit them as shills. You just serve certain aspects of their personality. You manipulate them through certain aspects of their personality. And I suspect that Greer has been co-opted in this way, if that is the case.
Yeah.
The man, he strikes me as not a very modest man. He's always, everything's always about him.
Yes,
yes.
And that's
his serious videos all about him.
That's
his serious video.
Huge red flag, Ben.
I joked.
Sorry, let me just say this.
Okay.
When you watch any of Greer's videos, right, he is center stage in all of them. He is the main focus of the videos. And when you watch the video, you look at the credits, it's hilarious. It's like a Stephen Greer production, starring Stephen Greer, produced by Stephen Greer, directed by Stephen Greer, music by Stephen Greer. It's like it's a fucking goof. It's ridiculous.
He's always like in Sirius especially. He was very much the center of attention, and almost every shot was him wearing tight jeans and some kind of hose. And I mean, when I didn't meet him. I met him. I saw him live on stage once in London, and he was like,
He's very
He was a
arrogant.
bit like a rock star, being surrounded by his adoring posse afterwards. I mean, there's no way we'd get near him. He had his groupies going round him when at the end, he met some of his groupies,
Yeah.
and I thought to myself, that guy has an ego problem. And when someone's like that, it's like Professor Brian Cox. I don't classify Greer as badly as Professor Brian Cox.
Hey, would
However,
you say that Greer is the Brian Cox of ufology?
There is no Brian Cox of ufology,
No, it's not.
but he's possibly
there.
he is the, I don't know if there's an equivalent of anywhere else, but he's this guy who he clearly is on an ego trip, and I think it's possible he's feeling annoyed at the moment because disclosure is not just about him. He has contributed. To be fair, he's made an enormous contribution to it, including to my own education. I went through a sort of Stephen Greer phase in the mid 2000s, which I listened to everything he said, and I thought, wow, it got me into other things such as Stephen Bassett and people like that.
Uh-huh.
But Greer himself is not Disclosure. Disclosure is not Greer. The Disclosure Project is a contributor to a vast movement that includes many other people. It includes Stephen Bassett, Richard Dolan, you and me, the Mindset Podcaster, Panwo, all these people. Everything combines towards this. It's not about any of us. We've got to be team players here.
Now that I know that, I'm very eager to see this new movie. But here's the deal, though, Ben. Is like I'm eager to see it, not because there's going to be any groundbreaking revelations in it. In fact, it's probably going to be a bunch of silly, stupid, fucking nonsense. Let's be honest. But I want to see it like sometimes these viral videos do the rounds on YouTube. Like you see a guy on a skateboard, fucking slam his nuts into a rail. You know what I mean? And you're like, whoa, ooh, but you want to see it. And that's the same kind of vibe when a Greer releases a video. It's like it's that kind of feeling. I want to see it because it's going to be a train wreck. It's going to be a goof, but you still want to see it.
I know. Yeah, I also because I know his positions on things. I know kind of what he's going to say in advance. But I mean, I must say his videos there's always some good, nice surprise in them as well. Like the photo. I didn't know about this photo. I don't think it had been published before this video came out, and things like that. There was just something always unexpected comes, and I always I always finish the film thinking I'm glad I saw it. Despite, this is of all the films he's made, this I think is the one I criticized the most. However, I still don't regret watching it. And he's released it for free. I mean, he's not charging people to see it. I wouldn't.
Oh, it's free?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's all over the place.
Are you sure that this is not Stephen Greer's MO? I thought it would be at least $30 to download it.
Well,
he charges for everything. How is this free? Are you kidding me?
I'll see if it still is. It was on Sunday. It might not be anymore, but it was on Sunday.
Let me take a look. What's it called? Stephen Greer latest
Cosmic.
What should I type in?
Here it is.
Should I type in?
Let me just.
Stephen Greer latest bullshit. See if that comes up.
I'll just send you the link here.
Right,
it's still free at the moment. Now, whether it will remain free, I don't know. But yeah, he is. To be fair to him, he seems to be giving this away. It's on BitChute. It's on Odyssey. It's everywhere. There it is.
Immediately.
Oh, this is.
Come on,
I think this is a
don't
mirror.
bullshit me.
It's better to.
Is this it? This is the cosmic hoax.
Yeah, this is a mirror of it. I think.
Well,
it's on a different
what
channel.
do you know? I am a little shocked by that. I'll have to download that. Check it out.
I am. Yeah, this is, as you say, Greer normally puts things on Amazon or Netflix, and you have to pay a few quid to watch it.
Yeah, it's unusual for him to pull shit like this.
Excuse me.
Isn't it?
Yeah, he normally. I mean, he does. I mean, things. He charges for things. I mean, if you look in the sidebar, Sirius is there, but it looks like Sirius is still on buy or rent.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I
still
see
got to
that.
buy, even though that's like 2014. It's a really old one. It's still on a buy or rent status. Mind you, Sirius though it's gone viral. Really, I mean, I don't know why he still bothers charging for it. It's an old one, and there's so many like free copies floating around that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm glad it's on YouTube, and he said it's on BitChute and everything. He released it for free.
Yeah.
Maybe he's turning on, or maybe this is part 1, part 2 you got to pay for or something.
I don't know. I mean, the cynical side of me, knowing him, says yes because like he does charge for things. I mean, his talk in London was very expensive. Even by London standards, that was an awfully expensive talk.
Well, I mean, to be honest, Ben, I mean, I don't begrudge the guy making a living. I mean, making videos is work, right? You know, and he's putting hours and time writing scripts and filming, and I mean, that's work. So you should get some kind of compensation. It's not like I'm saying, you know, he shouldn't be, everything should be free, and that's, you know, because that's nonsense. He should be allowed to make a living. I get it.
Maybe maybe I'm being unfair.
But you know what I mean? But there's a lot of that vibe, like, oh, he's charging, oh, he's up to no good. Then it should be free. It's that it's that kind of vibe that a lot of people have, which is a bunch of fucking nonsense. Let's be honest.
Oh, maybe it's a bit of an unfair criticism. I noticed as he charges more than most other people do.
That's a fair point. That's fair enough.
There's also several things. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with that. Like I said, the Communist Party didn't take part in Power in the Night. Why shouldn't he? You don't have to buy his stuff, and I don't for the most part.
True.
But there's other things about him. For example, he's the only exopolitician who has bodyguards.
Yeah.
I actually met one of his bodyguards, a guy from Exopolitics Netherlands. I met him in Leeds, and he was one of Greer's bodyguards for a while. Big bald guy, you know. I'm sure I could get the job if I wanted it.
You could totally do it.
But you see, the thing is, why does he need bodyguards? I mean, Steve Bassett doesn't need bodyguards. I don't go around with bodyguards. Well, I'm kind of my own bodyguard, really.
Well, it's like an ego thing, right? You know. Yeah. I mean, no one gives a fuck about Stephen. Who the fuck is going to beat him up or attack him? No one gives a shit.
Well, if he keeps saying, "Oh, I'm in danger because in danger because the information I have," and things like that. Okay, well, you see, other people have been researching this too, and no doubt they'll come across similar information to yourself. Other people have done witness interviews just like you have, not as many, but they've done witness interviews. Why does Richard Dolan don't have bodyguards? Why does Steve Bassett? Why do none of these people need bodyguards apart from you?
Probably, Ben, because they're sane.
You see, this is what I mean by the fact that Greer needs to learn to conquer his own ego. Like the Buddha, you know, when the Buddha was meditating under the tree, he's faced with an image of his own ego, like a doppelganger. And he can't become enlightened and become the Buddha until he has conquered his own ego and turned it away. And I think Greer, unfortunately, has opened the doors and he's let his walk in.
Yeah,
he's not the only one either.
He does have an ego problem, but
it's something we need to learn to control because all of us have ego. All of us have the potential. Of course. All of us have the potential for conceit and for self-aggrandizement. It's something. In fact, we need it to a certain extent. Mm-hmm. We need a bit of ego.
I agree.
But it's when you let it overwhelm you. You know, it's when your ego becomes so. It's not that you have your ego. It's your ego has you. It becomes like a drug.
I always get a weird vibe from Greer. I don't know whether he's legit or he's full of shit or whether he's mental or somewhere in between. I don't know. But I never get the honesty vibe from him. And that could be just me. Maybe he is. Maybe he's being completely honest and I'm just misreading it. I do not know. But anyway, Ben, we are rapidly reaching the end of our time together. As your day is winding down, mine is beginning. Unfortunately, I have to drive to work this morning and do a full day at the office and then come home and relax and do the stuff that I want to do. But Ben, thank you so much, dude, for coming on. Always, always, always a pleasure to speak to you, my friend.
You too, mate. You
too.
And
let's do it again real soon.
Yeah, let me know. I'll be back as soon as I can, and you guys take care of all yourself. I won't see you now till next week.
I was going to say next week, maybe next Tuesday. Let's get you back on Mindset Mornings, and we'll talk about all the fucking bullshit that went down at the bases.
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah, I would love to. As soon as I'm going to miss the next Mindset podcast.
You can spill the beans and all the fucking nonsense that went on over there.
I will. I'll recover from my hangover. I'll probably have Miles lying on the floor somewhere. You know.
So we'll talk about that next week. Then I'll look forward to it. So we can talk about what happened and hopefully have a great time, Ben. Give everyone my best, and we'll talk about it next week.
I will, mate. Yeah.
All right.
Cheers.
There you go.
Take care, Gareth.
Later,
Bye-bye.
Ben. And Ben shoots off into the ether, as I always say. There you go. Oh, man, I had some photos I wanted to show Ben. I forgot. Ben, hopefully you're still watching so I can show you these pictures. I totally forgot. I was going to show him these, but I can show you. I'll show you guys, the audience. So a few days ago, they unveiled a statue of Princess Diana and her two kids in the UK. I think it's in the UK. And they had Harry and what's the other one's name? I can't remember the other guy's name. The two guys, the bald one and the one with hair. One's got a beard, one hasn't. One is Prince Charles's son, the other one isn't, but they both pretend that they are. I can't think of his name. Harry and William. No, those two mental cases. So they did this photograph of the statue that they put up. Cool statue. But what happened was, as we are on the internet, somebody took the photo and did something wonderful to it. And there you go. There's the new photo, the new statue that's been placed in its place. Now then, as it happens. So anyway, I thought that was rather hilarious. I wanted to show Ben that, but I forgot. My bad. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time again. So don't forget, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Please hit that subscribe button. Hit the thumbs up. We only have 19 likes. Come on, guys. Let's get to at least 25. Hit that like button. Boom, 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 boom. Hit the like button. Do it now. Do it.
Do it now. Immediately.
And subscribe. Hit the like button. Join the channel. Dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria. And I will be back tomorrow when, if you guys remember, I want to talk about Phantasm at some point. Don't forget, go to Amazon. $5. You got to get if you get the Blu-ray, don't forget, you got to get the remastered Blu-ray of Phantasm. That's the one to look for. And on the US store, it's like $5 now, which is a fucking deal. I don't know what it would be in the UK stores, but it's probably around the same price. It's got to be. But yeah, Phantasm Blu-ray remaster. Get the remastered because the picture quality is superb. Okay, let's wrap this up. If you're just starting your day, have a great day. It's Tuesday. We're almost at the middle of the week. We're almost there, guys. Have a great day. If it's mid-afternoon, early evening where you are in the world, have a great evening. Relax. Have fun. Watch a movie. Chill. Maybe have a beer. I don't know. Whatever you're going to do. Have a great day. And I will be back tomorrow. Same time. 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Mindset Mornings. Have a great day, everyone. I'll see you all in the morning. Hope you enjoyed the show. Thumbs up. Subscribe. Share it with your friends. Let everyone know about Mindset Mornings. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Be seeing you.